friends, and welcome back. In this episode, we're going to go back 100 years to the great Harlem Stride School of Piano and James P. Johnson, who created this Carolina Shout. Carolina Shout was a showpiece back in the day, and these great pianists would get up to the piano and start wailing away, creating actually the beginning of jazz as we know it in America. So what I thought we'd do is to take 4 sections out of this piece and transpose them to some guitar fingerstyle playing. And then from there, the door is open, you can expand and create and bring this into a great showpiece of your own. So first of all, let's take a look at the introduction. Okay, the introduction goes like this. Bass into the C chord for the opening. Okay, so there's 4 measures of an introduction. So what do we have here harmonically? Well, we've got a C chord to a diminished or C sharp diminished 7 to bring us to the D minor 7, and then a D sharp diminished 7 to bring us to the G7. So we've got da 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 da. So that's what we've got harmonically here. Now this is broken down into a series of double stops, and we've got 6. Okay, it's all parallel 6. So we've got a G and an E. Okay, and I'm playing this with 1 and 3. Okay, we're playing the 3rd string and the 1st string. Okay, and we're just basically sliding that. I'm playing that with the 3rd and 4th finger, and then dropping down, which is the E and the C, right? So we've got, okay, that's the first part of it. Da, 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 1 and 2 and 3. So notice how we're doing it with the 3rd and 4th finger, sliding it, and then dropping to the 1st and 2nd finger, giving you a nice balance there finger-wise. And again, all being played with the 1 and 3. So that takes us to the C chord. Now from the C chord, we're going to do some chromatic movement here. We can slide that, da, da, and then I'm dropping the 3rd finger underneath. So we've got da, da, da. Okay, and then we're going to go up. And here we're going to drop to the 2nd and 4th string. So, okay, so now we've got the D minor 7. We've dropped into the D minor 7. So from the start again, we've got da, 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 da. A little pivot there. Da, 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 da. There's the D minor 7. Okay, and then finishing off, sliding again, back to the 1 and the 2. Okay, which is our G7, right? And then finishing it off with a diminished 7th, and then dropping down to the G7, which is the C7 form of the G7, where we're playing just the top 4 strings, right? So we've got this, da, 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 all C chord, to the D chord, or D minor 7 chord, to the G7, a little diminished, and then the G stop, okay? And then obviously just a simple G, A, B, and now we're into the piece. So noticing that we're playing this, but while we're playing it, we're going through the harmony of the 2-5-1, right? With the diminished in between. So we've got the D minor 7 to the G7, and then to the diminished, which is the C diminished, or E flat, or G flat, or A diminished, to the G7, okay? So that's the introduction. Now we're going to come into the beginning of the piece. So now let's take a look at the main theme of the piece, okay? So this is going to be 4 measures of the main theme. And basically what we're doing here is learning the chord forms that will be put in place to make this much easier to play, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is play the C chord. And again, this is like a C bar with the 3rd and the 4th finger playing that A7, if you will, okay? That A7 form, right? But up here on the bar. So we're going to be playing that C, but we don't need all of those notes here on the 3rd fret. So I'm just going to play it almost like a spider, where I'm just putting that 1st finger, 3rd finger, and 4th finger down and leaving everything else open, okay? So we've got that, and then we're going to come down and slide down and keep the 3 and the 4 the same. So those will be our anchored fingers, if you will. But now we're going to switch in the top here. We're going to play the B, and we're going to play the A flat, okay, to get the B diminished 7. So we've got C, B diminished 7, and then we're going to go to our old friend A minor 7, and then bring the bass down, okay? And so then we're going to the F, and we're only using the 3rd finger there, and then back to the C chord, a regular C chord, and then we're going to do some 7ths. So we're going to play that G sharp, and then on the 4th string, the 7th, and then the G with the F, the 7th, and then back to the C. Okay? Okay, so let's see what we're going to do on the fingerstyle here. We're going to be playing the thumb and the 2nd finger, and then the thumb will come down to play the 4th finger, again with the 2nd finger. Da, 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 da. Okay, 1 and 2, and then we can finish off the and of the 2 with the 1st finger. 1 and 2 and. Okay, so that movement, da, 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 will be repeated down here with the B diminished 7th. Da, 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 da. And notice that we've got all the fingers in place, so the movement is not going to be too difficult. Da, 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 da. Now sometimes that and, the last and beat, because if you're moving fast, you may only kind of insinuate that note. But it's good to practice it in a slow tempo, okay? Now when we go to the A minor 7, of course there's nothing to slide to, so we're just dropping off there. Okay? Da 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 da. So you can see that the finger picking is pretty much the same on all of those chords. Okay, and now we're to the A minor with the G. So we're hitting on the G. Da. Again, G, 2, G, thumb 2, thumb 1. And now we're with the F. And this is the basic Travis picking, right? The thumb is playing the 6 and 4, da, and then back to this C, and now we're going to come up here with the 3rd and 4th finger, back to the C, okay? So what we've got all together in that 4 measures is da 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 da. Okay, so now the next 4 measures we're going to talk about, again, getting the chord forms first is most important for the fingerstyle. You don't want to be picking notes out here and there in fingerstyle. You'd go insane. You always want to have the harmonic foundation behind where you're going. And then it's just a matter of using the fingers on the correct notes, but the fingers already being in place for those notes. And that really is the secret to getting some of these fingerstyle techniques in place. So now we're going to do the next four, and this is going to start out the same as what we just did with the C and the B, and then the A minor 7, and then with the G bass. So now instead of going to the F chord, we're going to go with a little bass run there, pretty high up actually on the 3rd string. So we're here with the A minor, da, 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 and now we're into the G chord with a basic Travis pick, 6 and 4, right? Da, da, da. But we're going 2 out to the 3, da, da, and the little finger coming down on the D, 2nd string, da, 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 da. Okay, so that little finger's playing all those melody notes out of the G chord. So now we've got in that second 4 measures, da 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 da. Okay? Now the next thing we would play is the same thing we did the first time. Okay, so those measures would repeat. Now in the next 4, we're going to basically go through the circle of fourths here. So we've got A, D minor, G, C. So let's look at how we're going to tackle that. You could play it with the A7 like this, or you could play it like this. Notice they're slightly different where we're playing the G or the A in our melody. If we play the A7, you hear that G, which gives you the A7 really solidly. Or you could play it as an A and then turn into the A7. Either way works. You could even do it one way the first time and then another way the second time. But basically, if you do it with the A first, make sure you take your finger off when you want to play that E note. Okay? So either way will work. With the finger picking, we're going basically 1, 2, 3, right? So it's almost like a waterfall. Either way works fine. And then we're going to go to the D minor 7. And this is sort of a walk down the fingerboard here, where we've got a D minor 7. So we're playing the thumb pretty high up on the bass, the 4th string, right? Open D, and then that first finger for the F, da da da, taking the F off of the E, da da, and hitting the E here. Okay, so you can see what's happening here with the fingers. To give you something to grab a hold of, we've got the D minor 7, and then the C or the A minor 7, and then the 3 and the 4, right? Like we did in the introduction when we were doing all those double stops. But this, I think, gives you something to grab onto instead of just picking all these notes out of thin air. So basically we're doing da 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 da, right? So it's thumb and 3rd finger, da da, 3rd finger again, thumb, 2nd finger, thumb, 2nd finger, da 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 da. Okay, and now here, again we're playing thumb and 2nd finger, da 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 da. 3rd and 4th fingers staying all parallel here back to the C. Okay, so we've got okay. Now the last four is a little bit more of a comp style. So we're going to be playing the C with the G on the bottom, and the melody will be always played with the pinky. Okay, and just sliding up, but the melody is always on that pinky. The pinky never comes off the fingerboard. So we've got the C, and again we're playing thumb with all three fingers. And there's your F sharp diminished seventh, C. Okay, and again we're playing all three fingers with the thumb movement. Da, 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 da. And now we're going to come up and invert that F sharp diminished seventh to the A diminished seventh, which is really the same thing, right? And then we're going to just slide it back to the G7. Okay? So notice when we slide it back, everything comes down one fret, except the finger on top comes down actually 2 frets. Okay? And notice the difference between the diminished seventh and the dominant seventh is just one note, right? So this is what we've got. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3. Lots of syncopation here. Just a repeat of the same progression, and that'll give you those 4. And so we're going to play that twice, and that'll give us 8 bars, but basically we only really need to know how to play 4 bars, right? Because we're just repeating it. Just remember keeping a lot of syncopation here. Okay? And so that'll get you a pretty decent showpiece. Now, if you listen to the old recordings, of course, Willie the Lion Smith, James P. Johnson, who wrote the piece, Fats Waller, the kingpins of the Harlem Stride Piano School, if you will, they will play it as fast as they can possibly play it, and that's pretty impressive. You can play this fast once you get it up to speed. You can play it faster and faster, but there is also to be an appreciation for playing it kind of slow, because the things that are going on here harmonically, these are the building blocks of early jazz, and there's real appreciation for the sounds of these chords. So if you're playing it slow, it can still sound pretty cool. So let's take a look. We're going to play the introduction. And our opening to the F. And again. Okay, this is our second theme, right? And then repeating again. And now the little circle that we did. Okay, now we're going to go into our C, our F sharp diminished. Okay, and then if you wanted to put in a little run there, and that's just or whatever you wanted to do there. And then we're back into the main theme. Once you get this under your fingers, it's really a lot of fun to play. Just repeating that little slide. So that gives you something to work with, something to play with. a lot of great fingerstyle techniques in there from the early days that you can incorporate and bring this out into another key, if you will. Once you get into that diminished, remember the diminished seventh can take you in 4 different keys by moving just one finger, right? So you could always expand this even further. But that is enough for now, my friends. Hopefully this gives you something to work with, something to play with. It's a great classic tune. Carolina Shout was again one of the showpieces of the early piano days, and this is how people showed that they knew what they were doing. So it's really something that you can play with and get under your fingers and have a lot of fun with. I hope that helps you out. Please remember, my friends, any other pieces you want to delve into on the channel, I'm always anxious to learn some new things. So until next time, don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you again soon.